Alrighty, folks, welcome to the program for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully, you had a great start to the week yesterday. And if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. If you want to see which one of the free plays on this video here today that I actually like the best, my daily best play is going to run you just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of access. I currently have over 2,610 members who are signed up and active on my premium page as of right now. And with that, we're going to jump right into some free content. Going to start off with the Phillies at the Marlins, 6:10 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia is the $2 favorite, totals 8 runs. Jesus Luzardo for the Fightins, Cal Quantrill for Miami. Now, Quanti's just 3-7 on this season. Marlins have definitely struggled getting him run support. Miami is a bottom 10 run-producing team, and they're facing a 6-2 Jesus Luzardo on the hill for the Phillies. 93 strikeouts on the year. And this Phillies pitching staff has definitely been tough to hit against on the road. They're in the top 5 in fewest runs allowed in their travels. Now, 3 out of the Phil's last 4 road games did stay under the total. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, 7 out of the Marlins' last 10 outings stayed under the total themselves. I like the Phillies minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Pirates, Tigers, 640 East. Detroit's the $2 favorite, totals 8.5. Casey Mize for the Tigers, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And Falter's backed by a bottom 3 run-producing lineup. Pittsburgh's had all kinds of problems this year at the dish. Of course, as a team, the Bucks have gone just 10-24 in their travels this year. And they're facing a Detroit squad who's definitely been tough to beat at Comerica Park. They're 24-11 as the home team. Pitching's definitely been tough to hit against on their own diamond. The Tigers are currently in the top 5 in fewest runs allowed at home. Meanwhile, on the mound, Casey Mize is 6-2 with an ERA of 2.95. Now, 6 out of the Tigers' last 10 outings did stay under the total. Pittsburgh games went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. I like the Tigers minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Rockies, Nationals, 645 East. Washington's the $2 favorite, totals 9.5. Mike Soroka for the Nats, Antonio Senzatella for Colorado. Now, the Rockies are on a 2-game winning streak. Got the W in 3 out of their last 5 as well. And they're facing a Washington team who lost their last 9 straight themselves. They just have not been good enough at the plate. The Nats are nearly in the bottom 5 in runs per game in their own stadium. Now, 5 out of the Nats' last 7 at home did stay under the total. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. I like the Rockies plus 1.5, under 9.5 runs. Angels, Yankees, 705 East. New York's minus 250, totals 9. Will Warren for New York. Kyle Hendricks for Los Angeles. Now, Hendricks is just 4-6 on the year. ERA of 5.20. And these Angel pitchers have definitely been brutal on the road. They're walking more batters per contest than any other team while traveling. They're also in the bottom 3 in runs allowed per game on the road. Unfortunately for them, they're facing a top 3 run-scoring lineup in the Yankees. Aaron Judge has 26 homers, 60 runs batted in. He's actually leading the league with a 1226 OPS. And Paul Goldschmidt comes into today's game with an on-base percentage of .368. Now, 3 out of the Yankees' last 4 at home did get over the total. Angel games went 60% to the over in their last 10. I like the Yankees minus 1.5, over 9. Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, 707 East. Toronto's minus $1.25, totals 9. Chris Bassett for Toronto. Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona. Now, Fox comes into today's contest with an ERA of 5.50, currently has a whip of 1.42. Of course, his D-backs pitching staff is currently in the bottom 5 in runs allowed per game. And they're facing a Toronto lineup who's scoring a bunch of runs in their own building. The Jays are averaging nearly 5.5 runs per contest at home this year. They rarely strike out at the dish there. Alejandro Kirk is hitting .316. Bo Bichette's the club leader in runs batted in. But even if the Jays struggle at the plate here today, they've got righty Chris Bassett on the hill. 7-3 record, ERA of 3.70. I like the Blue Jays minus $1.25. Twins, Reds, 7:10 Eastern start. Cincinnati's $1.20, totals 8. Andrew Abbott for the Reds, David Festa for Minnesota. Now, Festa's just one win. He's recorded just one win on the year, ERA of 4.76. And as a team, the Twins are currently on a 4-game skid. They actually allowed 31 total runs during that very short stretch. And they're facing a Cincy team who's definitely played some very good baseball over the past few weeks. 7-2 straight up in their last 9. Top 10 in runs per game in the box. Elly De La Cruz has the most homers and ribbies. He's also stolen 20 bases already. And TJ Friedel's got an on-base percentage in the high 300s. Now, total-wise, both clubs saw overs in 7 out of their last 10, respectively. I like Cincinnati minus 120, over 8. Mets, Braves, 7:15 East. Atlanta's $1.35, totals 9. Spencer Schwellenbach for the Braves. David Peterson for New York. Now, Peterson's 5-2 with an ERA of 2.49. The lefty's punched out 71 batters and currently has a 1.19 whip. Now, the Mets are currently 12-4 against the NL East this year. They've been tough to hit against on the mound. Of course, doing a great job against divisional opponents. New York's currently in the top 3 and fewest runs allowed per game. And they're facing an Atlanta squad who's definitely had their difficulties at the dish this year. They really don't walk a whole lot, not overly patient, and they are in the bottom 5 in strikeouts per game at home. Now, total-wise, the Braves, their games have gone 68% to the under at Truist Park this year. New York with unders in 63% of their contests on the road. I like the Mets plus $1.15, under 9. Orioles, Rays, 7:35 East. Tampa Bay is $1.25, totals 9.5. Zach Littell for the Rays. Dean Kremer for Baltimore. Now, Kremer's just 5-7 on the year. Not a ton of run support for the righty. Baltimore's currently a bottom 10 run producing team, and they're going to face a 6-win Zach Littell. ERA in the 3s, whip of 1.11. Of course, this Tampa Bay pitching staff walks fewer batters per 9 at home than any other team in the Bigs. Now, 3 out of Tampa's last 4 at Steinbrenner Field fell under the total. Baltimore games went 60% to the under in their last 10. I like the Rays minus $1.25, under 9.5. Cardinals, White Sox, 7:40 Eastern start. St. Louis is $1.50, totals 9. Matt Liberator for St. Louis. Shane Smith for Chicago. And Smith's definitely having one heck of a year. Definitely gives these guys a chance to win games. The righty's got an ERA of 2.37, whip of 1.17. And in their last 10 meetings with the Cardinals, well, Chicago's done a nice job on the mound. They're holding the Cards to just 3.3 runs a game during that span. As far as this year's concerned, well, the struggling Cardinals have dropped 7 out of their last 8 ball games. They currently have a losing record in their travels. And once again, during that 10-game stretch I just mentioned against the White Sox, the Cards were held to under 7.1 hits a game. Now, total-wise, both squads with unders in 6 out of their last 10, respectively. Plenty of unders between both of these teams. I like the White Sox plus $1.25, under 9. Royals, Rangers, 8:05 East. Texas is $1.30, totals 9. Jack Leiter for the Rangers. Seth Lugo for Kansas City. Now, Lugo's just 3-5 on the year, really not getting a ton of run support. KC's currently a bottom 5 run-scoring team, losers of 8 out of their last 9 ball games. And during that span, the Royals averaged only 1.7 runs a game in those losses. And they're facing a Texas squad who's on a 4-game winning streak themselves, 7-1 straight up in their last 8. And during that 8-game stretch, these Ranger pitchers were excellent. They limited opposing hitters to just 2.6 runs a game. And out of 36 total home games this year, these Ranger pitchers are actually limiting their opponents to just 6.7 hits a game. As far as today's concerned, well, starting pitcher Jack Leiter's got a 4-3 record, ERA in the 3s. Now, 2 out of the Rangers' last 3 home games did fall under the total, 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. I like the Rangers minus 130, under 9. Brewers, Cubs, 805 East. Chicago's minus 145, totals 9. Ben Brown for the Cubs, Chad Patrick for Milwaukee. Now, Patrick's just 3-6 on the year. Milwaukee's got a losing record on the road. Of course, at the plate, the Brewers are now in the bottom 10 in hits per game. And they're facing a Chicago team who's definitely pitched well at Wrigley this year. They're in the top 10 in fewest hits allowed at home, 22-12 in all of their contests in the friendly confines. As far as today's concerned, starting pitcher Ben Brown's rung up 83 batters and 69 plus. 9 out of the Cubs' last 10 outings did stay under the total. Milwaukee games went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. I like the Cubs minus 145, under 9. Red Sox, Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's $1.85, total 7.5. Brian Wu for the Mariners. Walker Buehler for Boston. Buehler comes into today's matchup with an ERA in the 5s. And Boston has struggled a bit on the mound this year. Their pitchers are in the bottom 10 in runs allowed per game. And they're facing a Seattle team who got the W in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Top 5 in walks per game at the plate. Cal Raleigh's 26 homers. That's tied for most in the majors. OPS in the high 900s. And J.P. Crawford's got an on-base percentage of .412. Now, total-wise, 6 out of the M's last 10 outings did get over the total. They saw just about 60% of their home games this year get over the total as well. I like the Mariners minus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Guardians, Giants, 9:45 East. San Francisco's $1.60, total 7. Robbie Ray for the Giants. Slade Ciccone for Cleveland. Now, Ciccone's just 1-3 on the year. Cleveland with losses in 8 out of their last 10. And during that stretch, the Guardians definitely struggled at the plate. Cleveland averages just 2.9 runs a game in their last 10 outings, and they're facing a Giants team who got the W in 7 out of their last 10 themselves. They've been tough to hit against at Oracle Park. These Giants pitchers are currently in the top 5 in fewest runs allowed at home, 22-11 in their own stadium. The starting pitcher Robbie Ray has been a big contributor to that, 9-1 record, ERA in the 2s. The lefty's also 8 strikeouts shy of the century mark already, whip of 1.12. Now, 3 out of the Giants' last 4 home games fell under the total. Cleveland games went 60% to the under in their last 10. I like the Giants minus 160, under 7.5. Astros, A's, 10:05 East. Houston's $1.45, totals 11. Jason Alexander, possible for the Stros. J.P. Sears for the A's. Now, Sears has recorded a handful of wins on the year, currently has a 1.25 whip. And as a team, the A's are currently on a 4-game winning streak. Pitching's definitely been good during that span. The A's allowed just 7 runs in those 4 games, and they're actually facing a Houston club who plays their worst on the road. They're just 14-18 in their travels, losing record in their divisional road games. And a lot of that has to do with a lack of run production. The Astros are a bottom 5 run-scoring team on the road. Now, 7 out of the Astros' last 10 ball games did stay under the total. A's contests went 60% to the under in their last 10. I like the A's plus $1.20 under 11. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Padres-Dodgers, 10:10 Eastern start. The Dodgers are the $2.20 favorite. Totals 9. Ben Kasparius for the Dodgers. Randy Vasquez for San Diego. Now, Vasquez is just 3-4 on the year. Padres with the losses in 4 out of their last 5 games. The Pods currently have a losing record away from Petco Park. They definitely struggled with control on the road. These Padres pitchers are now in the bottom 5 in walks per game while traveling, and they're facing a patient Dodger lineup who walks a whole bunch at the plate. Top run production team in the league. Shohei Ohtani's hit 25 homers, OPS in the thousands. Freddie Freeman's hitting .335, OPS of .959. When it comes to the total, LA's last 4 straight at Dodger Stadium got over the number. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. I like the Dodgers minus -1.5 over 9. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like the Phillies minus -1.5 under 8.5 runs. Tigers minus -1.5 under 8.5. Rockies plus 1.5 under 9.5 runs. Yankees minus 1.5 over 9. Blue Jays minus $1.25, getting the job done for some money line cash. Reds minus 120 over 8. That's Cincinnati minus 120 over 8. New York Mets plus $1.15 under 9. Tampa Bay minus $1.25 under 9.5. White Sox plus $1.25 under 9. Rangers minus 130 under 9 runs. Cubs minus 145 under 9. Seattle minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. Giants minus $1.60 under 7.5. Athletics plus $1.20 under 11. And give me the Dodgers minus 1.5 over 9 runs. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. That's why I always tell folks, that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.